Good evening. This regular meeting of August 8th, 2016 of the Dubuque Community School District Board of Education is called to order. Our mission is to develop world-class learners and citizens of character in a safe and inclusive learning community. Roll call, please.
Mr. Barton.
Here.
Mr. Byteen.
Here.
Mr. Donahue.
Here.
Mr. Prohaska.
Here.
Ms. Ryan.
Here.
Ms. Siegert. Ms. Whitman. Here.
All right. Pledge of Allegiance.
We're on our own.
On our own again, so hopefully you remember the
Be
words.
back next month.
Yep.
I
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move that we approve the agenda as submitted. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the agenda as submitted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move that the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting on July 18th, 2016 as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting on July 18th, 2016 as submitted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Board salutes.
Mr. President, board salute goes to many staff members who made this year's Summer Academy a success. Running for 6 weeks over the summer, the partnership between the district, Every Child, Every Promise, and the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque provided reading support for students in the morning and enrichment activities in the afternoon and on Fridays. Over 200 students participated in the program, which was entirely focused around engaging students to support their success. Special thank you to the program principals Joe Maloney, TJ Potts, and Cindy Steffens, enrichment facilitator Emily Blue, district teachers, the AmeriCorps staff, and the transportation and food service staff for delivering such an excellent program.
It's outstanding. I know the superintendent was sharing with us. I mean, this is really a great opportunity for kids. Very direct access to some of our best reading teachers.
Absolutely. It was fantastic. We had 240 students who had regular attendance. We had a few more than that who were registered, but 240 who showed up on a very regular basis. And certainly Shirley Horstman and Tammy Deere, both you see sitting back there, played very important roles in not only the organization of the program, but the content. So the morning was 3 hours of intensive reading instruction, but in a fun and interactive way and in a smaller group setting. The Community Foundation funded an afternoon program with a lot of our partners, and they also did transportation this year, and that really is a vital key for a lot of the parents. So we're have to wait and see what some of the data shows out. Do these students maintain or increase their reading, and can they hold that out through the school year? But certainly it was a fantastic program, and the young people I had a chance to visit with were having fun. So it wasn't just like being in school for 6 more weeks. They also had a lot of fun throughout the time of the program.
When would we see data on that?
October or November, because we have to take the students through the DIBELS test, and that window doesn't end until the end of September.
Okay.
So there's some data from the program, but the data we're really looking for that Shirley is the normal student testing window to say, okay, how did that move them compared to their peers who didn't participate? So it'll be a while.
October, November. Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Byteen.
I have one here. Kudos to Vince Thor and the district's maintenance team who make sure our key infrastructure is safe and efficient. After annual inspections by the Hartford steam boiler, the district received the following message from the inspector. Vince Thor and his team handling boilers, pressure vessels, and kitchen equipment that we inspect do an outstanding job keeping the equipment clean and very well maintained. All boilers are extremely clean, free of scale. Firesides are clean. The low water cutoff and piping are clear. Logs are maintained. The dedication and pride given to preventative maintenance on the school's equipment is clearly visible when doing inspections. Please let it be known that their hard work and dedication is greatly appreciated during our annual inspections. Thanks to Vince and his team, well done. And I'd just like to add to all of our buildings and grounds people. I'm sure they're getting very busy right now, getting ready for school to start. Thanks for all the work that you do to keep our buildings clean, safe, and operating efficiently. So thank you very much.
I might have to call Vince. I've got a shower stall at home I can't get the scale off of, so maybe he's the right guy.
Well, you should at least clean it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's note to self.
I have one for a board salute that goes out to Anderson Weber. There was a character conference hosted by 2x2 this past week, and Anderson Weber provided scholarships for teachers from a lot of our buildings to go for free, as well as some other sponsors within the community. But we had a lot of our teachers attend this conference of character, elementary school through high school, and I've heard great feedback from it. It's something that's growing, and it's a great program that our teachers were able to hear national speakers and get workshop and hands-on stuff that they can do in the classroom. So again, thanks to Anderson Weber for helping with that.
Great. Thank
I
you.
have a salute too. Not only do our students take summer school, but some of our teachers trying to further their education. There are many teachers that will take that extra step to help themselves to be a better educator and role model for our students. Amanda Goranson, a math and computer science teacher at Senior High School, took part in an externship program supported by the Iowa Governor's STEM Advisory Council. Amanda spent 6 weeks at John Deere Dubuque Works over the summer in product engineering. Her time spent at John Deere will be beneficial when Amanda shares her experiences with her students, helping to better prepare them for future jobs. I want to extend our gratitude to those who want to better themselves so they in turn can pass that on to our students.
Great. Thank you.
I have an additional one. I had an opportunity to attend, to go down to the Dream Center and observe their summer program, or their before and after school program. And I was very, very impressed with the time spent on reading and on math. And then obviously they have time for physical activities. But basically the kids are there for the better part from 9 to 5. And I'm glad to see that their academic needs are being addressed. And so I think it's a great program. J.J. Kimball does a great job down there.
Yes, he does. Yep. Great. Thank you.
I move that the Board of Education suspend the rules of order and go into open forum.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education suspend the rules of order and go into open forum. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Any persons wishing to address the board at this time?
I move that the Board of Education reinstate the rules of order and return to regular session.
Your second?
Second.
Moved and seconded that the Board of Education reinstate the rules of order and return to regular session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Move the Board of Education approve those items listed in the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve those items listed in the consent agenda. Are there any board members that would like to have any items from that consent agenda pulled out for separate discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Byteen brings us to Facility Support Services.
Yes, I'm going to hand off the reading of the first motion.
Yeah, I'll take that. I move that the Board of Education approve the shared services agreement with Hills and Dales for board-certified behavioral analyst consultant services in the not-to-exceed amount of $16,200.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the shared services agreement with Hills and Dales for board-certified behavioral analyst consultant services in the not-to-exceed amount of $16,200. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yes, aye.
So noted. Thank you.
I move the Board of Education adopt the following resolution and approve the construction contract certificate of insurance and bonds. Be it resolved by the Board of Education of Dubuque Community School District, Dubuque, Iowa, that the construction contract bonds executed and insurance coverage for the senior high school renovation project as described and detailed in the plans and specifications heretofore approved, and which have been signed by the contractor, be and the same are hereby approved, and Board President is authorized to execute said contract on behalf of the district outlined as follows. Contractor, Conlin Construction Company. Date of contract, August 8th, 2016. Bond surety, Fidelity and Deposit Company of Maryland, $25,222,400. Date of bond, August 8th, 2016.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education adopt the resolution approving construction contract, certificate of insurance, and bonds for the senior high school renovation project as read. All in,
I just want to make a comment.
any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment that it's glad to see this project is finally getting its final approval. It's going to be a great project. It's going to be a great thing for senior high school. It's going to be a great thing for the community. The committee has spent a lot of time preparing. The architects have spent a lot of time. Our buildings and grounds people have spent a lot of time. And it's going to be a very wonderful project. So we're eagerly looking forward to it. Just a reminder that tomorrow is the groundbreaking at 8 a.m. Right at the corner of Nora Gym, that area right there.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Mr. President, would ask that item C, approved donation of a memorial stone to Kennedy School, be returned to the committee for future or further discussion. So we'll move on to the next. I move the Board of Education approve the donation of soccer goals to Kennedy School in the amount of $3,247.90.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the donation of soccer goals to Kennedy School in the amount of $3,247.90. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Move the Board of Education approve the donation of audio-video equipment to senior high school weight room in the amount of $35,266.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the donation of audio-video equipment to senior high school weight room in the amount of $35,266. Any discussion?
Extremely generous.
Yes.
Extremely anonymous. Extremely generous.
I was hoping you'd add that.
And the kids are going to absolutely love it. I mean, it's some parent has taken enough pride in senior high school that they've stepped up, and it's going to be a remarkable system in that room. I mean, if you're in there lifting weights and working out, it's going to be fantastic. So talk about generosity on the part of our citizens. Very, very impressive.
Great.
I guess I would just add that it's also done in a way that it is portable so that as future construction, it won't be lost in that shuffle. If there's a time when we
good. Yeah,
redo
that would
the weight room, that would move with, building and grounds has worked to make sure that it's done in a way that it's movable as that time comes.
Great. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Byteam. Ms. Ryan, Ed Programs Policy Strategy.
Well, we got a nice update on the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act. There's been some law changes that had to be put in place to make sure that we are meeting the law correctly. So we got a good update on how they're going to work forward with that. We talked about legislative priorities, which we will get into under new business coming up here, and we also discussed policies and kind of had an overview of a administrative guideline for staff dress code, which was in our packets, and everybody had a chance to read elsewhere. So that was that with Ed Programs.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that gets us to new business.
New business.
Do we want to talk about what we picked from the committee first?
Yeah, maybe just to
or-
do a real brief background of what it is that we're, so every year, as you know, we have several opportunities to advocate for legislative priorities through both the Urban Education Network, which will do that in November. This happens to be through the Iowa Association of School Boards. But both of those entities work on behalf of public education to bring information to legislators, to the governor's office about certain legislative items. And so they do ask us, as they do all of their members, which I believe is all but maybe 2 districts in the state, to weigh in on what they should focus their efforts on this year. So this year, not unlike most years, because there hasn't been significant changes the last several years, that many of the recommended priorities, and there are 30, I believe there are 30
Yeah, 37.
potential priorities that they ask us to choose from or write our own. but the 30 that they asked us to choose from are pretty wide, 33 actually, pretty wide ranging. So we had some great discussions about what priorities exist in Dubuque and how we would advocate at the IASB conference in November to which priorities we would like to see them advocating for at the state level. So that's what we're doing here. Again, we will do the same thing with UEN priorities.
So at the committee level, we looked at these and kind of took Stan's lead on looking at what we need, standards and accountability, which we always were looking at, which was standard number 2, or item number 2 in the thing. We also put in there arbitration, that if we were to, if it goes to arbitration, that ability to pay and local conditions are looked at. We also put in there school funding policy. What we did change on that is we could only pick 4, and mental health was an issue on there as well, but we added that to school funding policy to put that in, at least so we could have that in there, because we also didn't want to lose the state penny sales tax. There are many more than we want, and this is just our vote, so our vote goes in with all of the other districts within the state, and we're just, some of this will come up as the same as what all other UENs will do, so it's not a matter of this is what the priorities are, but this is just what we feel as
Stan, just
priority.
a comment. One of the, I think, frustrations in years past is that they've had too many things.
Yep.
And I wonder if we can influence them to choose. There's a lot of important initiatives.
Absolutely.
But it seems to me they have greater success focusing on fewer,
Absolutely.
on the ones that are most critical.
And so, when we have the delegate assembly, which I believe, Mike, did you go last year, or Tammy? So
I went one year, Mike
So
went one
we
year.
can, certainly, when we submit this, we can make that comment, but also at that time we can. And I agree. I mean, we haven't had a great track record, we being the collective state, of influencing a lot of legislation in regards to public education in the last several years. And you'll notice that a lot of the recommendations are tied to funding. I think that if the funding were right and the local control that this board exercises, we could solve a lot of those other problems that are suggested we advocate for. We just need the funding and then the flexibility to get it done. Tammy is right. You know, it seemed strange to pull number 8 out of number, what number was that, Tammy, with the funding? 20?
20 was school
Out of 20,
funding
it's, you know, we're going to
policy.
talk about funding, let's talk about all the funding, and certainly mental health funding should be incorporated into all of those other areas. It's a vital.
Well, we kept it within our 4 that we were only
Right, we
allowed
wanted
to
to
pick.
keep it 4, yeah.
So,
So we infused it.
so not only do we need to narrow, but we need to find another approach. We need to figure
Yeah.
out, because what our advocating is not being heard. It's falling on deaf ears, and I don't know if it's the way it's being delivered or what. So we recommend 2, 18, 20 with the added of mental health, and 22. So I move that the Board of Education approve the 2016-2017 IAS.
28, I'm sorry.
Oh, 28, sorry. 2016-2017 IASB legislative priorities as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the 2016-17 IASB legislative priorities as presented. Any further discussion on? I think Tammy hit it on. I know Stan, we talked about that, and I know you raised the issue with the UEN superintendents that we've got to adopt a different approach in Des Moines, and we know the old definition of insanity, and that we've been practicing that for 6, 7, 8 years now, and
15 or more.
maybe, yeah. But, yeah, so looking forward to moving that discussion forwards.
This is one reason we are members of the Iowa Association of School Boards, so we expect them to help us out also.
Yeah, yep, correct.
Yeah, some leadership from there wouldn't hurt. I
I
mean,
move that we appoint Tom Barton as negotiator for the
Okay.
district.
Chief
Have some real
negotiator.
muscle
Wait a minute, we already
there.
have a motion on the table.
Fortunately for Tom, there's already a motion on the table, so we'll go ahead and, all in favor will approve that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries, and I'll quick adjourn before you know.
You make the motion really fast.
That's right. Okay. Thank you. Any board member comments, discussion?
Just on what we just talked about, it gets a little frustrating because when you have 330 school districts, Stan, in the state of Iowa, and 320 of them aren't very big, you realize that and their corresponding legislators are from equally small geographic areas. It just is real tough for a school district that's bigger to be able to fight through the representation that small towns have in the legislation, which is the whole focus of the UEN, the Urban Education Network. But boy, we're swinging and missing right now in terms of getting things done with our legislature.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
On that sharing note.
Was that your acceptance speech? Tom?
I'm sorry?
What?
Was that your acceptance speech?
Go home and kick the dog.
Just a couple of administrative, as was mentioned earlier, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, groundbreaking ceremony, probably last 20 minutes or so at the senior high. Really excited about getting that project up and running. It's going to bring some really good things and some needed things to the students at senior high and bring it more in line to the facilities that we have at Hempstead High School. We'll continue to advocate, as we just pointed out there, for extension of the sales tax so that we could finish some other buildings and also do a second phase at senior. New teachers start on Friday, so school is upon us. So new teachers start a little bit earlier than our other teachers, and certainly board members are mostly in this room, Phil. So board members are certainly welcome to stop in and greet or say hello to our new staff members. We're excited to have them here.
First day of teacher in service is August 16th.
August 16th, on the morning of August 16th, we'll be at the Grand River Center for our opening conversation for about an hour and a half, and then teachers are in their buildings preparing for students to come some on the 23rd and all students on the 24th.
Can you say again what day they're here, the new teachers? I'm sorry.
This Friday.
This Friday.
Yep.
Starting what time?
And Monday morning, the 15th as well.
Monday the 15th as well?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What time do they start on that day? Do you know?
8 o'clock both days.
Okay. Perfect. Great. Thank you. That's all we have. We're adjourned. Thank you.